There is an animal alive right now that, in a sense, cannot die of old age. When it gets sick or hurt or simply old, it does something impossible. It hits rewind. It turns its adult body back into a baby and starts its whole life over again. It is real, it is tiny, and this is how it works. To see why this is so strange, start with the one rule that binds every living thing. You are born, you grow, you age, and you die. A tree, a whale, a person, fly. Time only runs one way and the clock only ticks down. For 4 billion years, nothing alive has been able to break that rule. Almost nothing. Meet the exception. It is a jellyfish called Turritopsis dohrnii, and you could balance it on your fingertip. Barely 4.5 millimeters across, smaller than your little fingernail. It was first found in the warm water off Italy, and today it drifts in seas all over the world, carried around the planet in the ballast water of ships. 4.5 millimeters. That is the whole animal, tentacles and all. Something this small should be one of the most fragile lives in the ocean. Instead, it may be the most durable. To understand the trick, you need a normal jellyfish life first. It starts as an egg, which becomes a tiny swimming larva. The larva settles on the seabed and grows into a polyp, a little stalk that looks like a sea anemone. The polyp then buds off the swimming bell we all picture, the medusa. The medusa grows up, reproduces, and dies. One direction, egg to end. But when Turritopsis is starved or injured or old, it does the impossible. It runs that cycle backwards. The adult bell sinks back down and turns itself into a polyp again, the baby stage it left behind. It is as if a butterfly could melt back into a caterpillar whenever life got hard. How is that even possible? The secret is in its cells. In almost every animal, once a cell becomes, say, a muscle cell, that is its job for life. But this jelly cells can switch. A muscle cell can become a nerve cell. A whole grown-up body can rebuild itself from scratch. Scientists call it transdifferentiation, and it is astonishingly rare. Here is what actually happens. The stressed jellyfish pulls in its tentacles and shrinks. It drops to the seafloor and curls into a featureless blob. Then, over just a day or two, that blob reorganizes itself into a fresh polyp. And from that polyp, brand new jellyfish bud off, each one genetically identical to the one that seemed to be dying. It did not have babies. It became its own children. And we only found out by luck. In the late 1980s, in Italy, 2 young researchers were rearing these jellyfish in a tank. They left them, and when they came back, the adults were gone, and the bottom of the tank was covered in polyps. At first, it made no sense. Their team, led by Ferdinando Boero, published it in 1996, and the Immortal jellyfish was born. One scientist gave his life to them. Shin Kubota, in Japan, reared these jellyfish for years, watching them under a lens day after day. He reported one small colony rejuvenating itself around 10 times in just 2 years, some rewinds only a month apart. As far as he could tell, it simply refused to stay dead. In 2022, scientists in Spain read its entire genome and compared it with a close cousin that dies normally. The Immortal one had a stacked deck. Extra copies of genes that repair damaged DNA, that protect the tips of its chromosomes, and that keep its cells young and flexible. But the researchers were careful. This is a clue about aging, they said, not a cure for it. So, is it truly immortal? Not quite, and this part matters. It escapes aging, not death. It can still be eaten, get sick, or be crushed, and in the wild, the vast majority die young without ever rewinding at all. Immortal is a headline, not a fact. What it really has is an escape hatch from growing old. As the biologist Stefano Perino points out, if it were truly immortal, that species would fill the oceans. It does not, which tells you the ocean still finds ways to kill it. It has simply crossed off the one cause of death the rest of us cannot. So, why do serious scientists chase a 4-millimeter jelly? Because it is a living window into something we barely understand. Cells that can win their own clock back, on purpose, without becoming a tumor. If we could learn how it does that safely, it might teach us something real about aging and healing and how bodies rebuild themselves. And so, in the dark of the ocean, a creature the size of a pinhead quietly breaks the one rule the rest of us obey. It is one of the very few animals we know of that can turn an adult back into a child and simply begin again. It will not live forever, but of everything alive, it has come the closest to hitting rewind. If you love the true story hiding behind things everyone thinks they know, subscribe. There is a new hand-drawn story every few days. I'm really glad you're here.